Hi, hello, good morning. Hola, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Cafecito this month. Wanted to offer you all a very nice, warm welcome. I hope everyone has their little cafecitos ready to join us here today. Let me introduce myself very quickly. My name is Isael Torres. I am a program manager here with HACE, and I'm very excited to jump in here today. But before that, I wanted to wish everyone a happy Pride Month. I hope that we are celebrating the figures who have helped us to be able to recognize all of us entirely as a whole. Please know that here at HACE, you are loved. We celebrate love. And we want to be able to recognize the Black and brown bodies and voices that have helped advocate for us and every one of our communities here with HACE. So thank you so much for that. If you are tuning in for the first time, if you have not had an opportunity to meet us here with HACE, a little bit about us. So at HACE, the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement, we envision a world where Latinos reach their full potential, all in an effort to positively impact the American workplace by cultivating a pipeline of Latino talent. And so this is one of our many efforts. We do have a few things happening this month that we hope you are able to join us in. Two things that I wanted to highlight is our Recruiter Connect event. So that'll be happening here in the next few days, I believe on June 11th. And then we also have our Coaching Corner. So if you or somebody you know may appreciate some one-on-one time with an executive coach to be able to receive a little bit of guidance on the resume, on any interviewing opportunities, being able to discuss a little bit of where you are at in your current career, maybe where you're trying to go, this would be a really great opportunity to look at that. That will be June 18th. That and other details you can find on our HACE website. And so I would love to welcome you there. So without further ado, I wanted to bring on our guest, Yarela. So Yarela Beltran-Osgood, let's introduce yourself here. Where are you joining us from this morning?
Sure. So my name is Yarela, and I'm right now in Springfield, Illinois.
Springfield, okay. And to start us off, things we love to ask our guests are, how do you take your cafecito? Or what is your beverage of choice in the morning?
So I like my cafecito light and with a little bit of sugar and hot.
Hot. Okay, we love that. And important question, actually, I wanted to ask. ¿A quién le vamos al Mundial? Who are we supporting during the World Cup?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I think someone from South America.
That's the correct answer. Perfect. Okay. So if you all in the chat want to share who we're looking at in the World Cup, share with us how you love taking your cafecito. Tell us where you're joining us from this morning. Yarela, so tell us, in your background, where are you joining us from today? I see in your background right now is DCFS. Can you tell us what is DCFS?
Sure. So first of all, I want to share with you that my journey is a blend from South American roots and a passion for teaching and a deep commitment to support families and children. As an educator, my mission is not only to teach or create a lesson, but also to understand students and family and help them when needed. Today, I work at DCFS. I've been with this agency for 2 years and close to 6 months. And I have channeled all my background and my cultural values into my role as a recruiter. And as I mentioned before, I'm a professor. Recently, a few weeks ago, I received a notification that I passed my doctoral exam. So I'm very excited about that. And it's a way for me to also, thank you. It's a way for me to also explain and educate our potential candidates and applicants when we go to all these events or even virtual events. So at the end of the day, if I'm in the classroom or working as a recruiter for DCFS, my core belief remains the same. Every child deserves a safe space to grow, and every family deserves a community that support them. So something that I also want to share with our community is to visit Chile. I'm a proud Chilean. It's a country in South America where we have the Andes mountain and the Pacific Ocean. And way in the south, we have the Patagonia, which is beautiful. And I recommend everyone to travel and visit.
Summer plans, I suppose. I think we can make a little bit of some summer plans then to visit Chile. That's definitely on my list, and that all sounds beautiful. I wanted to take a moment and give you your flowers, Doctora Yarela Beltran-Osgood.
Thank
So
you.
I can't wait to keep sharing that name, and I'm sure others in the chat are going to share that sentiment as well. So congratulations.
Thank you. Soon to be. Thank you.
Yeah. A little fun fact. So my background's in social work as well. And so that also really, helps me resonate with, everything that you're sharing, because so much of that is a lot of what I've been able to learn and believe in, be able to work with, and that I hope I can bring in to the HACE space. So thank you so much for also being part of that world. So tell us, what does DCFS do? What
So
can you expect if and
yeah.
when they connect with DCFS?
So the mission for DCFS is to promote the safety, welfare of children, youth, and families by responding to reports of potential abuse or neglect. And we are there to support those families. And I can also say that as a Latino professional, I'm pleased to work in a mission driven organization where families and children come first. And that's something very personal, since I'm a family oriented and I'm always taking care of children's and also on my teaching. I'm always thinking, a person as a whole. DCFS gives opportunity for young career to apply to several positions, such as the child welfare, and in who is looking for a purpose or any responsibility, and also to have the ability to make a real impact. We also have several opportunities for upper mobility, which means once you are working for us, you can continue and further your education. Either if you have an associate's degree, you can continue with your bachelor's and with your master's. So there is room for that as well.
You were kind of heading there, but I wanted to ask, since you're teaching, you're in this type of recruiting role, if it came up, why should a recent college graduate consider a career trajectory in child welfare?
So there are many paths in our agency. For instance, if you are a new social worker, you would be the frontline worker, directly working with family and children, and you will see the impact. And you need to have that call to provide the service. And especially now, our agency, we're looking for bilingual social workers. And that's important because when we are serving these families, we want them to see that connection, that we not only understand them, but we can also communicate, and it also help us to avoid any miscommunication.
I love that, and I resonate with that. So I mean, you were touching on it. I want to expand a little bit more. How that asset of being bilingual plays in a day-to-day role working within the DCFS network.
It's a key factor, since we our Latino population is growing significantly in the state of Illinois. We are always in the need. We work with children and family, and it's important to understand and create and build that trust. So I think there is a lot of room to grow in our positions, that it can lead to many leadership roles. We have opportunities also for mentorships. We have the DCFS Latino Advisory Group, which helps improve communication, cultural understanding, and community connections across different departments, and work with families and youth and caregivers as well.
I love that. You know, in other spaces, I love sharing that my superpower is being bilingual, que
Mhm.
poder hablar y entender los dos idiomas, las culturas, in and out without really having to think about it. You know, it's not something to take lightly. So I love that.
Yeah.
You were alluding to it, and I wanted to expand more for anyone who is considering that, or maybe who already is in that career. You know, what does career growth look like for someone in a child welfare career path?
Yeah. So we have several positions where if you don't have the experience or if you don't have the degree, you can always join us as an assistant to those positions. And with training and with time and experience and be exposed to all that, you can move up. And then we're also always looking for lawyers, for nurses, in the area of reimbursement officers. We also have position as coordinators. So there is room for everything. There is always room to grow professionally. And not because I'm here, but I think DCFS has a lot to share, and also always keeping in mind helping our children and families.
So if there's folks who, especially recent graduates, but if there's folks who are like, you know what, I'm not sure if I would be good for it, what are some things that you would tell them are skills that they probably already have that are very valuable in someone who is working in child welfare?
So sometimes we have students. I do a lot of virtual recruiters, and they have typically that questions. I don't have the experience. I've been in school, but if you think about it, we all kind of have a communication with children, with families, different jobs that it can connect and translate to any of the positions that we have. And with the training that we provide, it will help them to succeed. And young generations and new professionals, they bring the technology that sometimes that helps a lot. New programs, different platforms, they can communicate in social media, they can spread the word. So they also bring their cultural awareness, which is a key factor for us when we're hiring bilingual candidates.
I love that. Yes, you know, I also work a lot with youth. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and that is something I also share is this idea that you know more than you think, or than maybe some people have given you credit for. And so, being able to build on that strength, a strengths-based perspective, is very crucial. Tell me, why is this the right moment that Latino professionals can and should step into this field?
I think that nowadays, as I mentioned earlier, our population is growing significantly, and I think is the opportunity for Latino professional to help the community. see that we are a unique agency that is mission driven. If you have the passion to help children and family, also to add all your personal background components, language skills, as I mentioned earlier. So, and also, once you come with DCFS and to any role, there is room to grow professionally.
I love that. So when someone applies, when they're interviewing, what are the things you're looking for? What are the qualifications, the background that you would want to see in a candidate?
That's a good question. I like that question. So one of the first things that we need to do is, as an applicant, read the job description. That's number one. Read the job description. Number two is when you create your resume, make sure that you provide details. For example, years that you have worked. If you have been in a job and you are promoted, make sure that you provide that information as well. If you are a student, you took several classes in college, that it will provide you that experience. For example, communication, foreign language, technology, and also including if you are bilingual. So you have to highlight any experience working with children, youth, and families. And during the interview, it's important that you provide all that information, that you elaborate on your responses, because when we are scoring, we won't score your resume during the interview. It's just information that you provided during our question and answer. So that's very important too.
This is such great free advice for anyone preparing for an interview, by the way. So I love what you just shared. I was curious, is DCFS able to offer a little bit more of a bonus for anyone who is bilingual or able to navigate other languages?
Absolutely. DCFS provide an additional compensation for those that are bilingual. And this part is a key factor, because we want to make sure that you are able to communicate in both languages, not only in Spanish, but first and most in English. The test consists in one oral, and then written in Spanish and English and vice versa.
Love that. You had mentioned something earlier about some type of a employee support group. I wanted to ask a little bit more about that, but generally also, how would you share that DCFS supports career growth, promotions, continued professional development, continuing education? As someone who may want to work with you, what can they expect to also receive from DCFS as far as their support goes?
Yeah. So it's not uncommon to see someone that maybe was employed with DCFS for 15, 25, or 30 years, or even new hires. We have the opportunity to go through a new orientation program where we'll explain how DCFS work, our DNet information, all the programs that we have, all the benefits, which are wonderful as well. And as it's important to also think about the future. We're not always going to be 20 and 30. So we have to think about retirements, and DCFS and the state of Illinois provide that as well. For the Latino community, we have as I mentioned earlier, the advisory group, which is a group that support mentorship. And we also have the reimbursement tuition reimbursement, where they will pay for you to go to college. You will have to stay with the state agency for 2 years after graduation. And you can always reach out to us, send us an email, and we can provide more details of all this information.
I love that. I know that right now there's a little bit of a question around funding that students can receive if they, go towards certain professions. I think social work, I believe, was on the list that was shared, some weeks back. So that's really great to know, because the financial aspects is something that I think impacts people's decisions in their career trajectory. So thank you so much for sharing that. I was curious, whether it's inside or maybe just slightly outside of DCFS, what are some type of mentorship opportunities that you would highly recommend that either future or current employees are seeking? What are things that maybe have benefited you in your journey with this career?
So most of state agencies, they have training within the agency. We also have CMS has an CMS University where you can always take any training. They're all listed in there. But with the agency, with DCFS, we have a shadowing program, and we also have
Tell
internship.
us more about that.
So you can visit, and you can shadow a social worker for a day or so. And we have a team that provides more details about that. And you can always get in touch with them. And also with the internship program, this is for students who are getting close to graduate in the social work.
So current students could approach DCFS and ask for
Yes.
shadowing opportunities, correct?
Yes, correct. Yes. And that information is in our website. And we always share that when we are in events, community events, or doing webinars. We have that information, and it's also in the website. So if anyone is interested about that and wants us to connect with them, they can always email us to dcfs.employment@illinois.gov.
Perfect. We're going to share that in our chat, and I'll probably ask you again at the end. So I want to make sure people can reach you. I have a few more questions. So what advice would you want to offer to Latino professionals who are wanting to go into this direction?
I think that it's important that you consider the value that you're going to provide to our children and families, and also our Latino community.
I love that. And for anyone who maybe is far enough in their career, maybe wants to consider a little bit of a shift, what are the advice that you would give them if they were interested to say, you know what, I've enjoyed my career path so far, but I do want to find a way that I can maybe connect more with my community, or be able to kind of help offer that type of support to the places that they live in. What are the tips you would have as far as being able to pivot in their career with you?
Yeah, so we're always looking for passionate people who are concerned about and committed to helping children and family. There are roles that requires you to have a degree in social work, psychology, education, and criminal justice, and others. But all that can be integrated into a role, and you can start, for example, as an office coordinator, or you can also apply for any assistant to the social worker. And with training and the experience itself, it will provide you that service that you want to give to our community. And also by being bilingual is key.
What would you say are the top one or two issues that you see DCFS is currently addressing more now in that field? what could help bridge, the gaps that you would want to see from the applicants as they come in and serve?
So when we go out there and when we do these virtual fairs, it's always a challenge because sometimes applicants is hard to understand the process. There is many steps, such as creating your profile. Everything is online. It's not like back in the day where you will go to a place, submit your application, they will review it. But also they need to understand that there is room to grow. Either if you are in the education and then you want to work for the state and provide a service. So that's something that we always like to promote, to come and work for us. If you feel that you have the call to help family and assist, that's just wonderful.
Love that. So as we start kind of wrapping this up, what would be your final thought that you want to share, with our ASA community? What excites you about the partnership that we as ASA could have with you, that folks who are going to listen to this are gonna want to offer? What are your final thoughts in what this world of DCFS can be for folks who are considering that career trajectory?
So us has been wonderful. A few weeks ago, we had a virtual event, and I have had the opportunity to assist future applicants, and not only in English but in Spanish. And it was the first language, so they feel comfortable when I'm explaining that. So that's something that I bring to the agency, and also. We have a wonderful team in HR staff and our recruiters. And I would like to give a shout out to all of them, our Northern recruiters, Southern, and also our virtual, because they are the one that they have to travel during the week, weekends, and holidays. We're out there responding and answering multiple questions. Sometimes we might not have that response right away, but we certainly reach out to whoever in order to provide that and understand them. So I think that DCFS, when I'm hopeful for the rest of my time and the end of the year, that to see more Latinos and Latinas bilingual in our agency, to bring in the professional aspect and who can navigate complex system with our families sometimes, and while communicating with them in their native language. That's a key, and I like to highlight that, ensure that nothing gets lost in translation, and when helping children, the youth, family, because the future is on the line.
I resonate with that so much. I have my social work background. I've worked in schools. I've actually had an opportunity of working for the state of Washington with their DCFS network. And so, yes, I second everything that you just said 1,000 times. I know we have a few questions in the chat. So before we start wrapping up, wanted to bring those up. So, and this kind of gets to what I wanted to ask anyway. So if someone wanted to shadow, what's the best way to reach out with you? Can we reach out to you through LinkedIn? Is it gonna be that email? Can we approach offices?
If they want more additional information, they can email us to dcfs.employment@illinois.gov, and we will provide details about that program.
Perfect.
We do have several events that they can see in our website, Facebook. They can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn. We do local fairs, as I mentioned, community events, and we do webinars twice a month. They're virtual, and the next one is going to be in June 11 at 11 a.m.
Love that. I know I've asked this a few different times, but we do have it here in the chat. So I just kind of want to reiterate it because I do think it's important, right? So What are the strong points that you see? What does a strong applicant look like for you as they approach DCFS?
I think that it's important to have that call, to have the responsibility to make an impact in the community, and also, as I mentioned earlier, when we are applying for this position, they have to highlight their experience in working with family and children.
Perfect. So everyone, you heard that. I'm sure yourself, maybe you know someone who's really good with kids, someone who in your family is always navigating the little details, the big issues. Those are the people that I would hope could be able to interact with Doctora Yarela
Thank you.
Beltran-Osgood, people who can approach our schools, who can work with our children. Those pipelines start somewhere. And so I think DCFS is such a great step that everyone should consider and be able to serve in. So thank you so much. We have that contact information in the chat. I'm sure we'll be seeing Doctora Beltran-Osgood in other places, spreading the good word. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your cafecito.